Welcome back, everybody. We're getting into our third match here of CCSW, week number 8 here. Everything's getting tighter and tighter. I'm Brimstone, and of course, I've got with me Red Cube and Falcon here, ready to go with this next one. We just came back from a gut-wrenching match, a very close one. Outdeuced VS, Victoria's Secret taking it 8-6. So tight, but if there's anyone that can give them a run for their money for match of the night, it's this next one coming up.
Yes.
With 8K versus Queen Yolo mid. So many good names on both sides, so many big plays. Although Queen Yolo mid is probably the favored one in this one, 8K should not be underestimated here. They've got some great players. Tell us about them, Henry. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect from this match.
So coming into this game, I think the thing that a lot of people are thinking, even the players in CCS, is Queen Yolo mid is still one of, if not the scariest team in CCSW. Artemis is on top of the leaderboard. Artemis has beaten Queen Yolo mid, and I think based on just statistics and based on everything, Artemis is the better team. But the names on the side of Queen Yolo mid, the moxie behind Queen Yolo mid is just scary. You go up against them and you're expecting the match to be either you're either gonna get put in the dirt or it's gonna be back and forth, and that is what's really, really scary with Queen Yolo mid. And the thing is, Queen Yolo mid is coming off of quite a disappointing performance, in my opinion, against Axios. Because again, every game I think Queen Yolo mid goes into, they are the favorites, and the fact that they have lost 3 times, I think maybe kind of raises some questions for a lot of their fans. And then the thing that we need to see is which Queen Yolo mid are we going to see today? Are we going to see the super scary, the terrorizing Queen Yolo mid that we saw in like week 1, week 2, and kind of the weeks in between? Or are we going to see this Queen Yolo mid that lost to Powerhouse, that lost to Axios? And that's just kind of what this game's going to come down to, in my opinion. Is Queen Yolo mid going to show up today as the Queen Yolo mid that is the scary Queen Yolo mid? How many times did I say Queen Yolo mid there? Like 46? That was like a
it rolls
record.
off the tongue. Rolls right off the tongue. Queen Yolo mid.
That was a
Queen
world
Yolo
record.
mid. But yeah, this is going to be really interesting. Now we're just going to go into standings here really quickly for you. I believe, do we have the updated standings here? Is that what we have? Or is this just the standings going into this week?
I think these are the exact standings coming into this week. So we don't have the Artemis game, and we don't have the Outdeuced game.
Okay. I mean, even considering that, Artemis and Victoria's Secret with wins should be retaining their first and second spot. We're waiting to see with Queen Yolo mid what's going to happen here. They're sitting in 3rd, Disrupt sitting in 4th. Then we have Sinister Red 5th, Axios 6th, 8K Gaming 7th, which we'll see if they're going to be moving up or down in that tight mid spot after this match. And then Outdeuced, unfortunately, still probably sitting in that 8th spot, rounding out with 9th and 10th. And I believe that 8, 9, 10th right now, they are the mathematically eliminated teams at this point. So it's been an extremely tight season, and it just goes to show we're coming into week 8 of 9 just to get any sort of deciding games here played, because it just could flip any way, which is really interesting. What we'll talk about now is the players on both sides, the players that are going to be the difference makers, and any of these ladies could definitely be just that for their teams. So on 8K here, we've got Marmalade, who's made obviously waves so far this season. Many games, with double-digit kills, frags, whatever you want to call it. Followed up by Niniren, Shailene, am I pronouncing it correctly? Shailene, Monster Girl, and Zerkit. They'll be going up against Queen Yolo mid, featuring Animosity, Autumn May, Bappers, Fuya, and Ashton. 5 big names, all in their own right there. I'll throw this to you, Falcon. If there's one player or 1 or 2 players on 8K that are going to be the difference makers for their team and possibly give them the win, who do you think it's going to be?
That's a hard statement. Like, not to say Marmalade would kind of be like throwing her under the dirt, but like, I don't like, that's like the thing that you can see the most is probably frag potential, and that's what she's got. So I'm gonna have to say her.
Yeah, I mean, from my personal experience, the one person that I've seen who's been able to, or the two, I'm gonna throw out 2 names that have come in clutch with frag potential, not always as consistent as Marmalade. But Monster Girl and Zerkit, I think over the past few weeks have noticed they've had moments, if not games, but they have had rounds where they've definitely stepped up with some big rounds. I'm hoping that they can come in big. Nini Ren as well, Shilene. I mean, any of them can't really be discounted. Now, Henry, who on Queen Yolo mid do they need to shut down to secure this victory?
I mean, almost
All
everyone.
of them?
Yeah,
That's a hard,
mean,
that's
all
a
of
hard
them?
question.
almost everyone. I mean, you're coming into this game and you look at the side of Queen Yolo mid and you can point to literally all of them and say they have a chance of getting MVP. Whereas if you look at teams like Disrupt, if you look at teams like 8K, you can point out 1 or 2 players and be like, okay, they got MVP. They could do something with that. You can look at Maddox and Disrupt, Marmalade on 8K, but with Queen Yellow, but again, it's just, you look at them and you're like, oh, Ashton's really good. Oh, so is Automay. Oh, so is Fuya. And then so is Bappers. Oh, so is Animosity. You just go on and on and on. And
wait,
it's
that's
just
all
because they're just really good players. And the thing is, the reason why I think Queen Yellowman has lost out in certain situations is because maybe things just don't click internally. And because they're all really good players, you can maybe see some disconnects here and there. And that is the best problem to have as a team because it's relatively easy to fix. If you just keep playing together, keep doing dry runs, keep kind of just hammering in what you need to do, it's easy to fix. And if Queen Yellowman has done their homework and have done everything, this could relatively, based on what we've seen so far, be an easy game for them. But here's the thing with 8K. They are a team of streaks. So in the beginning of the season, it was 2 losses. Then it was 3 wins. Then they're on 2 losses again. So it's kind of just this, it's this situation of where if 8K can find themselves in a spot where they can break this losing streak, then you're going into week 9 and 8K is looking a little bit better. As well as the fact, if 8K lose out here, they're in the same position how Deuce is in, where their playoff hopes are very, very slim. So there's a lot of pressure on these 8K players, and there's not as much pressure on Queen Yellow mid, but sometimes pressure shapes legends, and this is the best time for 8K to really just kind of explode onto the scene. And we are going to be going into the map bans here, and I think it would be a crime to not predict Clubhouse again.
Yeah, I mean, it's in our contract. Now that they know, I mean, there's nothing else we can do. It's going to be Clubhouse. Yeah, so both these teams probably have a lot of odds from the other teams in this league because Clubhouse is the only map that gets played in this league.
Yeah.
We have a 1 map pool, and I don't know how Villa managed to sneak by twice. Those teams might get a penalty, but yeah, we're gonna see Clubhouse
I think
again.
we're talking with the admins about that one because that's just not allowed. You can't play in
Yes.
Villa. It has to be Clubhouse.
Mhm.
We're gonna have to talk to Ty, bring it up with the board.
We need to talk to Ty. We need to talk to production about these map bans.
Yeah, so we are going to be. I can't open up the link. There we go. I'm gonna get flashbanged by it here in just a minute. But
No way. They're cheating again. It's Villa.
There's no way. There's no way. Yeah, this is
No
going up to
way.
the board. This is not. This.
Where's our
this is-
Clubhouse?
This is not possible. There
It's,
is no way. But going to Villa again. So that's 2 in a row now. I think that's 2 weeks in a row where we've seen Villa, and also 2 times in a row where we're seeing Villa once again. Do you expect this to play considerably different from the round, not the round before, but the game before between Outdeuced and Victoria's Secret?
I want to say no because the situation these teams are in is like basically the same. It's
Yeah.
similar if not the same because 8K was tied. Well, okay, technically they're still tied without Deuced. They're all tied. 5 to 8 are all tied at 9. So this is the same kind of standing, right? Queen Yellow mid's up in the top 3. They don't have that much farther to move. And 8K, if they do win, they do the same thing. They jump up like 3 positions. So
Yeah.
that's basically it.
Yeah, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Queen Yolo mid, have they guaranteed a spot? No, they haven't. So Queen Yolo mid, there is still definitely a possibility for them to fall out of playoffs. Is it likely? Probably not, as again, they just have so much talent on their roster, but it's definitely possible. And sometimes when you kind of have that idea looming in the back of your head of, hey, is it possible that we lose this out? Like, could this actually happen? That could kind of throw a team off. Whereas Victoria's Secret and especially Artemis didn't have that problem because Artemis 100% guaranteed it, whereas Victoria's Secret would need the entire league to change, but there is still a very slim chance that they do fall out of playoffs. Whereas Queen Yellow Mid, not too many things have to change for them to fall out of playoff contention. And it puts them in a situation where, yes, this game may seem not as important. You only have 2 weeks left. You're a third. You should probably waddle into playoffs. That's not actually true. EU, it's a little bit more true. In North America, like Brimstone was saying earlier today, in a week like this, it's just points to how competitive this game really is. And not this game, but this league really is, because no matter what, we are reaching that tail end of the regular season to see who is going to be seeded where and if teams even make the playoffs. So there is still a lot of substance to this game.
So I guess, so not entirely the same. What I said, I didn't do the math exactly, so that's probably why I was wrong. But not entirely the same, but similar. 8K has room to move, and Queen Yolo Mid. So I guess that means they have to win to kind of solidify their spot. So it does still matter for them.
Yeah, and it's kind of one of those situations where if they don't win, there is still a pretty high chance that they sit in that kind of like third, fourth spot. But a lot of teams can capitalize on it and then just kind of push them down. So there, again, like you said, this doesn't look like a game that has a lot behind it, but it really is. And we are going to be going on to Villa once again. And this is going to be very, very interesting. Could it spell the same? Could we go all the way to overtime once again? It's almost an identical standings matchup to the game we saw prior. It's also on the same map. Again, it's a situation that only time can tell.
Yeah, I definitely want to see this map go the distance. Villa, I know one of my friends actually really doesn't like this map, and he doesn't like playing on it because he's a comp player, and like you said, it is like very defender sided, and he just hates attacking on this map. I mean, I don't know why exactly. He's a good player. He's just not comfortable on it, I guess. But I'm one of those guys that likes to see a good Villa game. I think it is one of the maps that has in a long time come out that has been like really competitive. So I appreciate that they're actually picking it and going straight into the operator bans. Actually, that's pretty fast from both teams. Decisive bans, Thatcher and Buck being brought off the board on the attacking side, and no Echo for the defending side. That's pretty standard. But another Thatcher ban for a Villa game.
Yeah, so we saw the Thermite Thatcher duo getting banned out, and now we're going to be seeing the Buck Thatcher duo. That's not really a duo. I've never really seen Buck and Thatcher work in tandem. But we're going to be seeing Buck and Thatcher banned out. Buck is kind of surprising. You don't see him too much on Villa, kind of, because there's a lot of remodeling you can do to the floor. But Echo and Mira as the defenders being banned out, absolutely no surprise there whatsoever. That's kind of something you see every day of the week. It's either going to be a Echo, Mira, or a Maestro, in my opinion. We've seen some discrepancies in CCSW, but when it comes down to it, there's no surprises whatsoever.
I mean, we haven't seen a clubhouse today. At all.
That is true. That is true. But that's also breaking the rules. So it doesn't necessarily count.
That might be in all seriousness, that might be a record, I think, right?
Defenders, protect your bombs.
What, for like not, what do you mean, like as many clubhouses played? Not clubhouses?
Like anti-clubhouses.
I wonder if the last game is not on Clubhouse, it's definitely a record, because I'm pretty sure every single week so far has had at least one Clubhouse. Pretty sure. I know this is the only week with 2 Villas. That's 100%. That's for sure. But if the last map is not Clubhouse, I think that will be the very first week. I'm not 100%, but I think that will be the very first week Clubhouse isn't played during at least one play day.
We gotta remember, there is an off-stream game. And
yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was thinking.
Yeah. So we don't know yet. We'll find out. Looks like we'll find out what's gonna happen in this match coming up real soon. 2 seconds left in the prep phase. AVG defense, pretty standard. You got a mute. You got no bandit, so the mute's gonna be the one to deny the walls. And so Thatcher, that's right, Thatcher Buck ban. So that's interesting that they're not bringing a bandit to deny. Maybe it's because the Bucks ban. That's intriguing. From 8K, we're gonna have to wait to see why that is the case. But no bandit means no MP7, means no shock wires, so you can't actively like destroy thermite charges. You can kind of delay them, but at the end of the day, they're gonna be there whether you like it or not, unless you have unless you put one of your maestros inside of study and you deny like that. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they're pulling the same thing that excuse me, that Victoria's Secret did, and having that maestro in the back, and hoping to God that the other team doesn't spot it like the sledge didn't that one round. But anyways, that's in the past. In the present, what is in the present is looks like a full map clear. Mozzie's down here on backstairs, right underneath astronomy, and the Capitão's already made his way into the bathroom up top floor. The Jackal's going to start tracking him out, and the roam clear is going to start commencing, pushing all these little rats back into their hiding place.
And we are looking here at Mozzie has been technically cleared out, has been pushed off the kind of the spot where you'd expect Mozzie to be playing, but the Mozzie is not dead, and there's still C4 in the back pocket. But we do have Jackal waiting and watching. I don't know, was that a Legion mine? I don't exactly, I could not see exactly what that was, but something got shot from the Jackal, and it looks like an entire map clear. It's gonna give the attackers a lot of map control, but they didn't really do much with it. You only have about a minute left, and every single defender is still on the board, and you haven't pushed onto site whatsoever. You haven't gained control of, I guess, kind of the assets you want to gain control of, but it doesn't matter, as Automé is able to find the first kill onto the Legion. Again, an operator you really don't want to die off early is going to be the first one gone, as the Legion gets more powerful as the round goes on. And just like that, though, Nini Ren with that C4 in the back pocket that we were talking about earlier on is able to take down the Capitão, and Marmalade is able to take down the Thermite. And the push that we were gonna start to see from Queen Yolo made it slowly getting dismantled by Marmalade herself, as that's 2 kills for her now, taking down the Jackal and getting rid of those smokes. And it's going to be all up to Fuya and Bappers here. Fuya's able to find one. That's going to make it a 2v2 as Bappers finds one onto Marmalade as well. So 2v2 situation, you still have 77 bullets in the hands of the Maestro. And well, you can do quite a lot with 77 bullets and only 10 seconds left. This is looking very, very good for the defense. It's going to be an all-out push site, hit site call from the side of Queen Yolo. And it actually looks like that plant could technically come down. Nini Ren is able to actually kill the last operator outside, so it's just going to be a kill the planter situation, and that's exactly what is going to happen. 8K able to, I think, surprise a lot of us and take the first round against Queen Yolo mid.
Yeah, that got kind of close, gotta admit. Good play by, I think it was Fuya and then one other in the middle of the round to get the man advantage back. And, well, remove the man advantage, I guess. They didn't really take it any point in that round, if I'm correct. They brought it back to a 3-3. It looked doable, and then things started spiraling out of their favor again, which is unfortunate. But on the other hand, Marmalade, great 2K. I think, I'm not entirely certain where that was. That might have been either 90 hallway or through the hatch, maybe vertically. But
I think one was 90, and then she also killed one when she was rotating back into the site, if I'm not mistaken.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. I'm not 100% positive though, so I could be completely wrong, but I think that's what happened.
So yeah, they did very well on that, and I guess kind of unfortunate for Queen Yolo mid. They had the information on them at 90 the entire time, and what confused me was I watched the sledge of Bappers. I forget again. My memory is like pretty like buns today, so I apologize for that. But at least I remember the operator, so I guess that was mattered. But the sledge was at 90, and admittedly the hatch was open, so she couldn't just walk up to the Maestro cam and sledge it. But she was just kind of staring at it, and she, if I'm correct, had 2 nades in her back pocket. So it's a bit weird why they didn't go for that denial at that point. And I think that was one of the reasons why the Thermite was able to get C4'd, because they did have the intel on the people that were sitting at 90, and of course that's kind of the one wall that you really want open with the Thermite. And that didn't manage to happen, and at the end of the day they had to funnel through a door. They picked one, and that just so happened to be the one that Maestro was covering. Good flank by Nini in the hallway to get the frag on the flank watch. So at the end of the day, Planner has to stick it. Nothing they can really do at that point, and that was a lost round after the 2v1 becomes 2v1.
So already this is going against what we saw in the Villa game before. So the Villa game before, it was the first 2 rounds went in favor of the attack. That's not what we're seeing here. We're seeing more consistent Villa play where you're seeing the rounds go in favor of the defense. Obviously, it's only been one round, and you can't really take too much out of it, as you could easily see Queen Yolo Mid just go 5-1 into the half. Is it likely? Not necessarily. Could it happen? 100%. But now, a little bit of change of operators, a change of pace, as well as a change of roles for the side of Queen Yolo Mid, as instead of Autumn May being on the Jackal, it's going to be Fuya. We've seen Fuya on the Jackal many times before, and it has... I'm so confused.
He's so lucky.
That smoke is the luckiest person in the world. Oh my goodness. And that's just... Wow, okay, well... all right. But we are going to be just seeing a lot more pace from the side of Queen Yolo Mid. This time around, they were still droning out and trying to figure out exactly what they need to do, but you're already seeing some pressure put on to the defense, kind of getting into these, I think that is the bedroom area, opening up all the windows and establishing some types of lines of sight so you can get control of bedroom, as that is like the pinnacle. Like, that is the one thing you really need when attacking this site. And Queen Yolo Mid so far are doing a good job of it. They are stalling out just a bit here as they are waiting and watching. Nomad should have seen the stock of one of the operators. Is going to shoot a little bit prematurely. Should still find the kill, but it's going to be Nini Ren escaping with her life. And I have no idea how Nini Ren is still alive. You're just kind of waiting and watching.
Oh, no.
That's a very cheeky angle. That's kind of the Dan angle you see from Dan on Empire quite a bit. But we are seeing, again, a very aggressive push into bedroom, but with only about a minute left, we need to see a little bit more. You got to open up that wall just to establish some more control, as well as the fact there are still 3 smokes on the board, make it 2, as Marmalade is able to find the first kill onto Animosity, but Autumn May is able to get a direct trade and take down Zerkut. And just like that is a 4v4 situation, taking down the Kaid as Maestro falls, as well as Bappers finally, in a battle that took about 30 seconds, is able to find the kill as Shailene drops all the way downstairs and is deciding to waddle back up, I think Astronomy that is, and attempts to get the flank on the IQ, who finds herself in sight just sitting here, and it's going to be up to the smoke and the Jaeger in 20 seconds left, and the plant is most likely going to come down as Marmalade is able to find 1, and Autumn May is able to find 2, but just like that, Marmalade on triple kill, it could potentially get the pistol, but unfortunately, it's just going to be too many bodies and too many guns to account for, and just like that, Queen Yolo Mid bring it right back.
Good gunplay from them. I'm kind of confused why they didn't get that master wall open early enough, or like earlier. But I mean, at the end of the day, if they think they can frag it out, all power to them, because we know these names and we know what they can do, and that's what they showed us in that round, that they can take the round without needing needing a diffuser plant. You said the diffuser might have been going down, and I was like, I'm not seeing a timer on the side, so I don't.
I thought it was going to go down. It was like instinct, like you kind of expect it to go down in that situation, but guess not. I want to ask a quick question. Was that floor hard? Am I just blind?
It might have been. Like it. I think.
Because I thought I saw holes in it.
Right.
So I was confused. I saw like little bullet holes in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was weird.
Well, I apologize to all the viewers who are probably in chat saying, "Oh, this caster is a silver caster. That's a hard floor." I apologize. Yeah, okay, the floor is 100% hard. I'm looking at it right now. I'm stupid. That's my fault. But
I mean, we both.
Yeah, we both were shocked. Okay, we both were very confused. So
I mean, the IQ was too.
Yeah, the IQ was too. Everyone was confused. So we apologize. That is a hard floor. It makes sense why the smoke was sitting there, and I guess that's just the silver caster coming out of me, I guess.
Yeah, same. A bit unlucky. I mean, they do end up taking the round though, so that didn't matter very much. They just got all the frags that they needed, and well, AK is gonna try to go here again. So win-loss, maybe a win this time if trends continue so far. But a 1-1, it's only the start of the game, so they can show us what else they have in their pockets.
I think something Oh, I apologize. Go ahead. Oh, okay. I think something we have to talk about as well is the fact that 8K is playing with a kind of slightly different roster. They did play with, I'm hoping, it's Shy. I'm just going to call her Shy. They did play with Shy last week, but they did get rid of Vawasawaptor. I loved saying her name, and it's really unfortunate that she left, because that name is just absolutely spectacular. But they did get rid of Vawasawaptor, and they are going to be playing with Shy, and Shy, I think, has fit that role quite well. Obviously, they didn't win last week, but she has been doing her job fairly fairly well, and I think that's a pretty good, I guess, trade out. I don't exactly know why they decided to make that roster move. I think it could have easily just been like personal issues and things like that, but that's not something we need to get into. But something we are going to be getting into is the fact that Capital has already established master bedroom control a lot earlier on than we saw last time around.
Ooh, yeah, a minute off the board. They're already ready to deny whatever tricks there are on the other side of this wall. There is no Thatcher, so maybe this Kaid could do something, but no. I mean, you can't Kaid trick a thermite charge. But the impact trick does come out. Well placed. So that does take one exothermic off the board. Does he have another one? And is he going to land a shot? Technically, well, okay, land the throw. Is he going to be able to hit the same mark twice? Maybe hit a home run, but Fuya is going to start it off on a Nini. Good headshot. Response, but another one as well from Autumn. And Circuit goes down after taking a frag on a Fuya. 3 versus 4 for the defense. And Marmalade is finally rotating back to site, not influencing the round yet in any way until she finally gets back. But nothing for her as Autumn May gets 2 and Animosity finishing it off. Beautiful flurry of headshots there. Those showing off the amazing gunplay that Queen Yolo mid really has on their side.
Yeah.
Even if they can't do their, like, kind of play conventional siege, get the walls open, get the bomb down, or excuse me, the defuser down, and studying too much other games. Sorry about that. But even if they can't do that, they have the raw fragging power in their pockets to just be like, let's just press W and left mouse button, and we can win anyways.
Yeah, and it's something we've seen from them over and over and over again. And I think a lot of people really want to see, this is like very far in the future. I wouldn't call it very far, but this is far in the future. I think a lot of people would love to see a Queen Yolo mid Artemis final, because you have the side of Artemis who have incredible gun skill, but I think they're a little bit more organized. And then you have the side of Queen Yolo mid, which I think maybe slightly beat out Artemis in the terms of gun skill, but are just less organized. And it's kind of just like, it's this combination of two powers that I really think could make an absolutely spectacular final. But we could easily see a complete change of scripts and absolute upset on top of upset. We could see somehow, like, I don't know, just something completely different in the finals, and we're just going to have to wait and see for that, because that is quite far in the future. We have about 2 weeks before that comes around. But like you said, just going back to your point, is the fact Queen Yolo mid, when they need to just shoot back, they are going to shoot back, and they don't necessarily need to get the bomb down every single round. They don't necessarily need to have a direct push or a coordinated dry run attack that they've talked about for years upon years and things like that. They just don't need it. They're just going to go in, they're going to shoot back, simple as that.
Looking at this round, similar. Actually, it seems like they're reverting slightly back to their first run setup. So adding a Capitao on the board, Fuya back on the Jackal, the Trackle. And they have the flank watch and Bappers as well. Ashton so far has been steady on the Thermite. Unfortunately, not able to find impact on round number 1, but that hasn't... Okay!
Reloading.
Ooh. Excuse me, hold the thought, Animosity. Great headshot, ready for the peak. I don't know how she knew, but somehow she was just staring for it. That was
Just
immediate.
Just a knower.
Oh yeah. She's like stream sniping or something, I don't know, but that was amazing.
Yeah.
Instant reactions.
That was instant. It was the moment the barricade broke, it was pop, and you're dead. And that's going to put a damper in the plans for the 8K defense, because that's Marmalade off the board. And Marmalade has been kind of keeping this 8K team in a lot of these rounds, getting 3 pieces, 2 pieces, and things like that. And the fact that not only is she off the board, but also a very valuable roamer and gun off the board is going to give this Queen Yolo mid side quite a lot of confidence to either push on a site very aggressively or just pick apart this 8K defense slow and methodically.
Slow seems to be the name of the game right now. After they get that pick, they'll actually lose one to Shy. Okay, before I say that, I asked our producers how to pronounce that name, and I got told like 15 times, and it's still difficult. I think it's like Shy Align. Shy Align. It's
Shy
like
Align.
It's a line at the end.
Yeah, like a
But
line.
either way, yeah. She gets the
Yeah,
frag.
we'll just call her Shy. Let's just call her Shy, because I as well got every single pronunciation from everybody, and I'm still like, okay, I'm confused. But I'm not confused about that, because Bappers is actually able to, I think, make it a little bit easier on us, as Shy is dead. Now we are going to be seeing Zerkat sitting here behind the bar is also going to be dead. It's going to be a 1v4 situation as Animosity and Autumn Mage just run into sight. And once again, Queen Yolo mid proving when you have gun skill and you have confidence, it's really hard to beat.
Oh yeah, both these rounds we've seen them, the same two names close it out. Both the A's, sorry about that, Ashton, but both of the other A's, the Animosity and the Autumn May, closing both of these rounds just with stereo frags. One of them coming in and getting 2, the other one cleaning up, and we see both of them on the top of the scoreboard, clearly at least putting the weight of the team on kills on their back. The others are probably doing their job as well on all the information gathering, because how are they going to do that? Especially how is that Jackal going to get that frag on the Jaeger punching like a master window if she doesn't have drones, right? That is the value of teamwork. That's probably how that happened. Even still though, like magnificent reactions. I just that one probably like broke me for that round.
Yeah, that was just a really nice shot. You see a lot of times people get like pre-fires through that window, but we saw it was Animosity, right?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, it was probably the Capital. My bad.
Okay, yeah, no, so it was Animosity, but Animosity wasn't even looking at that window. It was just like it broke, and then it was just like an immediate turn, and just like that combined with a good flick combined with just perfectly placing your crosshairs on the head of the Jaeger and also taking down the Jaeger, which was Marmalade. It really helped the side of Queen Yolo mid, because it's been kind of a story of Nini, Ren, and Marmalade that's been keeping 8K in these matchups. Because if I'm not mistaken, the scoreboard for 8K is fairly top heavy with them two names at the very top.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing we mentioned at the beginning too, or at least the player that I picked that would have to kind of pick up the slack to be able to take this map against Queen Yolo mid. And when she gets shut down like that, you can see Animosity playing with the window now. And when she just gets shut down like that, you can't really be mad at her like, as a defender. Like, what are you going to do? You literally do not have time to react. That's just amazing play and awareness by the side of Animosity. And literally one bullet. And she's ready. You can see that she is just aware. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe there was no drone. Maybe she just knew. And just, yeah, individual skill on Queen Yolo mid shining through. And I'm glad that we get to see it on stream. Like, that one little moment really highlights the amount that each individual player can do.
Yeah, as we are going to see Fuya getting a kill on the Zerka. That's going to be your Legion off the board, and that is a really tough operator to die super early on. You still have more than half the round left, and the fact that you don't have any more goo mines, it's going to hurt you quite a bit. Wow, how did Shy lose that gunfight? That is an incredible shot from the Zofia, just peeking into the vault. No, it wasn't the Zofia. Was it the Zofia? Yeah, no, it was the Zofia peeking into the vault and was being able to find that kill. That is absolutely insane. Fuya is able to find 2 for herself. Nini Ren, though, is trying to bring it back and get the refrag on to Autumn May. But it is still a 4v5 situation with the Maestro down in vault. Technically, not 5, 2v4 situations. Fuya is able to find 3 and is going absolutely massive for her team as Monster Girl attempts to go for the pickup and making it a 2v4. It's slightly more doable, but it doesn't really matter, as right after the pickup, Monster Girl gets fragged out, and Shy, with only about 20 health, is going to be put into a task in a 1v3 situation. We saw Yazers do this before, but unfortunately, Lightning does not strike the same place twice, and Animosity shuts that down. And this is kind of looking like a situation where Queen Yolo mid are getting in the snowball effect. They are starting to run away with this.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say you don't want to counter out because we've seen that before, but yeah, Queen Yolo mid not backing down. They're not putting on the brakes at all. It's not like the last game where it was back and forth and back and forth. This is very, very strong in terms of how Queen Yolo mid are playing. And like this, there's nothing much to say. They're just, they came here to win, and they're showing it right now against 8K. And poor 8K are the ones that have to deal with this.
Yeah, as we are having a little bit of a sync issue, and we do apologize. It seems as if, I guess, we are just predicting the play. I wouldn't even call it a sync issue. I think we should call it just the fact that the casters are so big-brained that we're able to call a play about 3 seconds before it happens. I think that's the real issue. But we are going to be trying to get that addressed as soon as possible here. And This is another situation where we have to look at the statistics of Villa. Villa is an attacking, is not, whoa, no, whoa, let me slow down. Villa is a defender-sided map, and the fact that it's 4-1 in favor of the attack and just momentum is really on the side of Queen Yolo mid, this is not looking good whatsoever for 8K. And again, 8K is a streaky team. They need to get momentum behind them. They need to get people behind them. They need to get something behind them in order for them to start winning rounds and winning matches. And unfortunately, right now, it's just kind of not working. And I think Queen Yolo mid are doing a really solid job of shutting any opportunity that 8K has to kind of get back into this game. They're doing a great job at shutting that down.
This round is actually a tiny bit slower, but I mean, what we've seen from them, that doesn't really seem to matter. They can kick it into high gear whenever they feel like it. So, 8K need to enjoy this short little moment of reprieve that they have for now. And just think about what they have to do to figure out. I mean, that's the same thing. They have to figure out what the heck they have to do to be able to take at least one more round off the board before they go into the half switch, because 1 to 5 does not look very promising when you're going on the attacking side of Villa.
Yeah, on Villa, you kind of have to be married to the idea that you want to come out on defense on top. And no matter what here, 8K can't come out on top. We've seen Queen Yolo mid have secured the advantage going into the half, and it's just going to be a question now of whether 8K has the mental capabilities and the physical capabilities to just try to bring this back, not only on attack, but right here. 4-2 is a lot more helpful than 5-1. 5-1 is just, also, it just looks worse. When you go into a half, you just see a breadstick on your side of things. It just hurts you mentally and hurts you physically just like looking at it. And 4-2, it's not as bad, but any round really counts here for 8K, and they just got to do something here. They need to take a calculated risk because there's not much more they can lose. Yes, there's a lot of game to still be played, but you need to take advantage of being on defense, and just like that, they were able to find 2 early picks on Animosity and Autumn May, 2 operators and 2 players who have been absolutely explosive this entire matchup. Those were huge kills for this side of 8K.
Yeah, 40 seconds. There's nothing much they can do at this point other than just push in and hope that they can replicate the success of the top 2 fraggers. And right now they're stalling really, really hard. This Thermite isn't really active in the side of Bathroom, and they have a player that's been injured as well on the Astronomy Stairs. Bappers is not going to be in this round. Fuya now taken out, smoked, and Monster Girl with that frag to clean it up. And Ashton is the last one to find. It's just going to be a formality at this point. Maestro must know the audio cues are heard, and she has no idea where she's getting shot from. Marmalade is the one to shut it down.
That's a really good round from 8K. They needed that. If there's any situation where they needed a round, it was right there. Because, again, 5-1 is just so daunting of a task. And the fact that they were able to bring it back fairly convincingly going into the half, it could be the well-needed confidence that they need to flip this game around. But the problem that keeps arising, and the problem that we keep talking about because we keep going back to Villa, is the fact is defender favored. And going into defense, up 4-2, it's a really nice spot to be in when you're Queen Yolo mid. Going into attack, down 2-4, not at all where you want to be if you are on the side of 8K. The ideal scoreboard, based 100% on statistics, would be 4-2 in favor of the defense. That's kind of what the ratio is for Villa. And it's the complete opposite in favor of the opposite side. That's just not something you want to see. Even though that was a really important round from 8K, they're going to have to make a lot more of those very solid rounds on attack, and it's going to be a lot harder because they are simply on attack.
Because they're simply... That's so sad when you really think about it. It's like they're literally just scaling a cliff. Like,
yeah.
Before this, okay, they were climbing a mountain. Now it's like, I don't know what people call that. Like, there are rock climbers, right, that like climb upside down.
Oh,
that's what they're doing right now.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what it's called though.
Yeah,
but,
that's what they're doing.
Okay, something we need to talk about is the fact that going downstairs to kitchen as the first site This is 100% a secondary site on Villa. And the fact we're seeing Queen Yolo mid go here first, it could be just to throw off the other team, but it also is an idea of, are they hiding strats? Are they that confident already where they're saying, okay, we probably are going to make playoffs, so let's just not show too much? I mean, I really don't know. This could just be a way to throw off 8K, and I think it definitely is throwing them off just a little bit as they're kind of confused and, wait, why are they not upstairs? They are in kitchen. That's just not something you typically see. But we're just going to have to wait and see, because sometimes when teams do this and make this decision of going to, I guess, an off-site or a secondary site, it's a little bit of a risk because, yes, you're throwing off the other team, but is it going to be valuable enough as you are going to a less viable site? As we are seeing the first kill goes in favor of Autumn May. That's going to be onto the sledge, so goodbye to your soft destruction. The only soft destruction you have left now is going to be that Zofia, but Zerkut is able to find one. Mozzie goes down as well, so Marmalade and Zerkut bringing it back in favor of the attacking team, but you still have a C4 and a bunch of smokes and a lot of intel on the side of defense, and you have 1 minute and 30 seconds left. This is really anyone's round at this point, but time is still in favor of the defense until that diffuser goes down.
Yeah, is this gonna bite them in the butt? That's the question. I actually didn't notice the kitchen pick until you pointed it out, so I'm very appreciative that you did, because this is definitely, it's weird. Like, what? And it looks like it's not really paying dividends right now. They have a minute left. Yeah, that's kind of, it's putting the attackers on a time crunch, but look at what you're down to, right? You've lost Fuya, you've lost Bappers. Those are the two roamers that are supposed to hold the top floor, so they have a lot of map control right now. And while you did get one frag to the floor, they have a lot of angles to look down on you. They lost the sledge. That's probably very big. That's the most important frag to get for the defender. So very good on Autumn May for doing that. But teammate Animosity, her dynamic duo gets taken down, and her herself, Circuit, cuts her down. And all of a sudden, Ashton left with it all to do, not even gonna find one. Monster Girl finish off that round, and attackers off the meta yet again. Get another round, but this time it's on an offsite, so maybe it's just that Queen Yolo mid gave them bit leeway, and we'll see if they manage to go there, or if they decide to go there again, and if 8K manages to do the same on a more standard bomb site that they are going to now, such as Aviator.
Yeah, I think Queen Yolo mid maybe had a case of overconfidence there, and they're saying, okay, if we can win an unviable site first, we got this game in the bag. And yes, you throw off the other team by being like not going to the more typical sites, and maybe the operator picks won't be as, I guess, fluid and as approachable to a site like downstairs, but it's just a less viable site. It's not as easy to win as Aviator games, and I'm glad to see that Queen Yolo mid is not going back downstairs and have learned from, I wouldn't necessarily call it a mistake, but I think that's the only word I really can call it. So they have learned from their mistakes, and they're going to be going to, I'd call it old reliable site here, as I think this is number one. You could argue for bedroom, I mean not bedroom, I can't think of the name. Statuary, yeah. And you could argue for that as being a little bit more viable, but I think it's just this is a lot smarter move from Queen Yolo mid to just say, okay, let's just go to the sites we know and love on Villa instead of trying to throw off the other team. Or hide strats.
Yeah. I mean, they could still be hiding strats. Who knows?
They definitely could be.
Like, they have that kind of luxury because of just how good they are, that even if they do play these standard bomb sites, they can hide certain things that they might pull out during finals, assuming they get the finals, which it's pretty likely. They might still be hiding little, like, certain angles, certain sight lines, maybe a couple parkour locations here and there.
Some coconut brawl type stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if people remember, like, a couple finals ago, like professional finals, where Goga on Border were standing on top of the lockers behind half wall. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe these guys are finding some of those and just chilling for the time being, because these guys are pretty decent in the standings, 3rd place. They do need to win this if they want to, like, really secure the position. But they, at least on this map, have shown that they're pretty strong. And 8K only winning so far twice on the defense, or excuse me, twice.
Yeah, twice on the defense, and then once on a offsite.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it definitely gives 8K confidence because it's a 3-4 scoreline. But I think in the back of their head, they realize, all right, we have one round on attack because
I don't-
potentially it was on an offsite as Bappers gets that off.
Wow.
Wow,
thought
that
that
is
was too
huge.
late.
Yeah, I thought that was way too late. But just like that, Bappers is able to get rid of one exothermic charge, and it looks like Thermite is going to be going for it once again. And if I'm not mistaken, that one also got tricked. So the wall is not going to be getting open. That is absolutely huge. No wall is going to be getting opened, and then it completely bottlenecks the attack into the lines of sight of every single player. But Marmalade is actually going to be the one coming out with the first kill. Maestro, though, of Animosity is able to find one, and this is a situation you really don't want to go into against Queen Yolo Mid. It's a game of peaks at this point, and we know just how good mechanically the side of Queen Yolo Mid is, and this is going to be very, very hard attack for AK simply because they did not get open that wall.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like you said, they're just gonna have to win these gunfights. This one's lasting a while. Ashen and Bappers, though, with the assist from outside the site, and a good hold indoors. Marmalade with the 1, but responses in kind, and all of a sudden Monster Girl all alone. 1 versus 3 in 40 seconds. She has some decisions to make, but not very many choices, not very many options. She just got like a 2-question multiple choice test, true or false. What are you gonna pick?
Yeah.
They're all wrong.
There's no correct answer, so good
Attackers
luck.
have located a bomb.
And that's exactly the situation the Thermite is in right now. Just kind of throwing out stuns just to maybe, hopefully get something. And unfortunately, unlike COD, you don't get hit markers on this stun, so you can't push when you want to. But it doesn't matter, as Automate comes flying out with the shotgun and shuts down Monster Girl. So very, very questionable Thermite play. Not in terms of the 1v3, but in terms of putting that exothermic charge down. You need to have support there. Someone's either got to be below, someone's either got to be, we don't have a Thatcher in this situation, but yeah, no, someone's got to be below, someone's at least got to get control of that side of the wall, because if you don't get that wall opened whatsoever, you could use a Habana even. There's so many solutions. There really is a lot of solutions, and unfortunately 8K had absolutely none of them. If you don't get a sliver of that wall open, it really dampers your attack. And the fact that we're also, again, it is a different site, so it does make sense. But you got to maybe potentially bring a Habana in that situation, because Habana allows you to just get something out of that wall. And the fact that they got absolutely nothing was 100% the reason they lost that round.
And like, that's playing into exactly what Queen Yolo Mid want. They just want to take these gunfights. And if you can't do the fundamentals of Siege, the 1, 2, 3, the open wall plant bomb, or plant diffuser, then what else do you have to rely on? That's basically it. That is the game. It is relegated to a first-person shooter, and all you have to rely on are your gun skills. I think this is wrong button, Fat Finger.
Yeah, probably. Or just wants to plop his C4 down just to give the C4 some excitement, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, exactly. And I want to just quickly talk about something, is the fact that we're talking a lot about Villa being defender-sided. And all the stats that at least I am talking about is Pro League stats. So it's not as, I guess, approachable to CCSW, because CCSW isn't Pro League, but it is still a competitive scene. You kind of expect the statistics to somewhat align up. So I apologize for kind of all the people who are saying like, oh, it's defender-sided, it's attacker-sided. These are Pro League-based stats. It is on Liquipedia and things like that. And you do see discrepancies, quite a lot of discrepancies in CCSW. So these stats aren't as applicable to situations like this, but it's always just something that is good to talk about.
Another pretty standard round. You see kind of the similar setups from both these attacking teams. You have a Capitao, Sophia is pretty common. Sledge in this case, and the IQ has been brought a lot on Villa today by all 4 teams, if I'm correct. See out on the last map, Outdoost and Victoria's Secret both really liked it. And in this case, Queen Yolo Mid, a little blunder in the first round. Didn't know you couldn't shoot the smoke through the floor, but that's all right.
We didn't know either.
Always won.
I was so confused. And now looking back at it, it's like literally bricks. I'm like, how was I that lost?
It looked like wood from the bottom.
It really did.
Like
it really did.
It looked like this.
Yes, it did. It looked 100% like this. I swear to God.
It's the same thing.
It is this. This is wood. Wait,
what? She gets caught off for it too. That's
see,
mind blowing.
That just doesn't make sense to me. I swear, in my head, I see wood and I'm like, oh, siege, you can
Right?
bust through that. Okay, but I guess the more you know, the more you know.
Like, she actually died because she thought that was breakable. Like, if she got the mute
We
charge,
all thought it
it's
was
like,
breakable.
that's disgusting by the game. Like, wow.
That just makes me mad. I am disappointed.
That is actually
in Siege.
unfortunate. Because, okay, they got the mute jammer off eventually. I thought they didn't, but eventually they got it down. But that took a hot second. And still impact tricks required to keep the thermite off the wall. Time is running low, so that's good for the defenders, 4 versus 4. But the attackers, if I'm correct, they still have a lot of utility. I don't know if Sophia has well, there goes a stun. So that's 1. But the Capital probably still has the smokes, the fire bolts, and the kills coming out. Marmalade and Shy, excuse me, finding 2 stereo frags and Monster with one of her own after Bappers responds. Autumn has 1, but that's just about it. Gets shut down. Nini with the planner, supporting very, very well. And able to get the frag after Autumn peeks a bit too far. And 8K with another attacking round, this time on another kind of on-site, to be honest, trophy statue. That's one you see pretty decently. So they're keeping this within their grasp.
Yeah, I was 100%. I was literally just about to say that 8K is doing everything in their power to stay in this game. But speaking of a game, we have a game update of the off-stream matchup: Sinister versus Axios. It went down to the wire. We've had a lot of those today, actually, and it looks like this is shaping up to be another down-to-the-wire game. But Sinister versus Axios, 8-7 in favor of Team Sinister Red. So just like that, Sinister find themselves in a spot with 12 points and tied with Disrupt for 4th place. That was a very, very big win for them. And it also came at the tail end of the matchup, going the complete distance, 8-7. So after this week, the scoreboard is going to be looking, I think, a little bit different. There are going to be some stayers and some movers, but it's crunch time right now for a lot of these teams, and that's not something you see in leagues very often. Most of the time, especially, I think a good example of this is F1. There's a potential for you could have 4 more weeks of games, but people have already clinched the championship. That's not what we're seeing here at all. It's coming down to the very last week. Who's going to make playoffs? Who's not going to make playoffs? And that's absolutely spectacular to see in Team Sinister. They are on the cusp of making playoffs, and it's going to go down to the DG game that we have later today. But enough about the other games. We have a game at our hands that is getting very, very close to going the distance as well, as it's 5-4. 8K against Queen Yolo mid. I mean, I don't know if it's just an idea of a Villa going the distance. I don't exactly know what map Sinister played on, but so far today, we've seen Villa back and forth, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Still 30 seconds off the round. Slow drone work. Being thorough, they need everything they can get. And they're making sure of it too. AK waking up on the attack, so that's pretty good for them. But they need even more, since they're still behind on rounds, and they need even more than that to take the map. They have to get past the tie situation, and they cannot let Queen Yolo mid receive even 1 round in return, or else they will secure at least overtime, if not a map win. So this is on 8K's back to do something special. Look at this. Queen Yolo mid is chilling in sight. They can relax. They're not getting pressured just yet. Maybe this is Autumn, though, as Circuit does cut down Fuya. So that is one of the roamers off the board. She probably didn't expect that angle, but now that the comms are out, Ashton has the information. Rotates off at the wrong time, though. Maybe she could have gotten a frag, and that's unfortunate. Marmalade with the response on to the timing. That's pretty good from her. 2 headshots, Animosity falls, and a response from Bappers, 2 for her, but she is the last defender and no longer on the bomb site. But with the C4, do they have the info? That's the question. There's so much time for both teams to play with, and the diffuser is not being planted. That is the big deal.
Yeah, well, the diffuser is going to be coming down now, and Bandit tries to take a gunfight into bathroom, and unfortunately he's going to lose it out as 8K tie it all up. And unfortunately there, I think, well, in Siege, the cost of doing nothing is far too expensive. And just like that, I think there's a little bit too much of nothing from Queen Yolo mid. We saw when Fuya went down, nobody really adjusted. And then when another, I don't exactly remember who the second operator to go down was. I think it might have been Autumn May. Nobody really adjusted again, and it was just Marmalade waddling into the backside of site. No one called it out. Everyone just kind of sat in their same positions, and Marmalade was able to find a 3-piece. It's just things like that where you don't necessarily call out quick enough or you don't adjust your hold quick enough can really be the difference, and we see it there as 8K are able to tie it up. And this is definitely a much closer game than I think almost everybody was expecting.
Yeah. Well played, definitely by
Attackers
8K
to
there.
locate and defuse
I
as
think
many bombs as they
so.
can.
Okay, the things that we've seen here on CCS today, both this game and the game prior, I can understand why people do not think that this map is defender sided because it hasn't been today. I don't think that's the fault of the map though. I think that might be the fault of the teams. It's weird to say, but okay. So Victoria's Secret, I want to say they did a really good job of taking advantage of the options this map provides. But so far, these teams are strange in the fact that this map is enormous,
10
right?
seconds to go.
Like there's this thing that we say, I don't know, like some people are
5
like,
seconds left.
what's it called? Like people that like to drive fast, they're like, I bought my car, so I'm gonna use every bit of it, right? So I'm gonna go from like 0 to 100. But these guys, they have the whole map, and they're using like 50%.
I agree.
Kind of.
Yes.
Like the Jaeger was
100%
one person
agree.
roaming, and that was it. And then he died, or she died. Excuse me. Sorry, she died, and then that like no follow-ups, no counter roam, no double, like not even a double roam, no support. Something that Victoria's Secret did really well was on that one round that Sketchoponymous got 2 frags on the pulse. She had Lexi there to cover, and then she was able to get the frag on the IQ at the end, going up the stairs. So that double roam instead of just one, having someone to watch your back is such a big deal in this map. And the fact that these teams aren't doing it, that might play partially into the fact why the attackers are so successful right now. Look at this roam clear too. They're doing it so fast. There is nothing contesting them, and that's the most mind-blowing part.
Yeah, on Villa, you really have the authority and you have the ability to have an extremely deep roam. An extremely deep roam that can be absolutely punishing. In Pro League, you'll see it all the time. People will be kind of on that lone rat mentality, sitting downstairs, sitting in the basement, sitting in corners and just waiting for something to happen until the perfect moment. But we're not really seeing that here, and I think that's why we're seeing a lot of these games kind of go in favor of the attack or be more 50-50. The only game so far that didn't really align, I think the only game that technically kind of aligned with statistics was the Artemis game, because I think Artemis was just capitalizing on Coastline. They were playing Coastline properly. As Fuya is able to find 2 for herself, as Bappers is able to add on to the tally, making it a 2v5 situation with a Thermite. As just like that, Bappers is able to find yet another, and goodbye to the Thermite, as Capitao is just getting absolutely slammed by not only Fuya, but also a Maestro Cam, and a flawless round for Queen Yolo mid, and now put on to match point. There's a very, very high price that 8K have to pay, but only they have the power to pay it. Can they push this game into overtime? That is the question.
I gotta admit, looking at that last round, it's kind of questionable for them. Marmalade's going ham. She's got double the frags of the next person on the scoreboard. Other than that, though, it's kind of, that's now a word. That's a word. That's how it feels like.
Yes.
They stalled out really hard in that last round. That was flawless from Queen Yola mid, right? But that wasn't because, okay, they did play it well. They won the gunfights. That was beautiful. Great shots by everyone, especially Fuya, Bappers, that duo just getting, I think, every single frag. Bappers got like 3. The Jaeger got 3. Fuya got 3. Bappers got 2 from 90. That was great. But you have to question 8K. Why are they all walking through 90 and walking through the gold? They did that roam clear great, right? No one was roaming. They didn't have to deal with anything. And then they walk into 2 players and just lose all the fights. That's showing once more the proficiency of Queen Yolo mid individually, but also 8K kind of lacking in that department, as well as the fact that they could have done something else. They could have called an audible, a bit like just something that wasn't walking into all these angles when you have stuff to use at your disposal, utility, breaches, whatever, just something that you don't have to take these gunfights. If they, like, obviously Marmalade, she can frag out. She's got 14
Yes.
kills.
Yes.
But everyone else right now need to either pick it up or understand where they're lacking and adapt to take that into consideration. Because, okay, in this game, yeah, it's a one-shot headshot game, but you don't always have to have the best aim to win all the gunfights. Look at someone like Pengu, for example, from G2. The man is like the worst headshot percentage in Pro League. His worst was like a .16 with like 12 frags. You don't have to have great aim. Just have better positioning, great teamwork, and you can find success. And they have 5 rounds to prove for it. They have found success. And look at that Nini with a drone in front of her, ready for the call out. Bappers peeks into it, not understanding where she's exactly. So she loses the fight. Fuya, however, both running out of ammo. This is a bit unfortunate, but does get caught out by Nini once again. And that's that teamwork coming into play. Even if they both missed their shots, Nomad didn't have enough ammo with the 20 bullet gun. That's understandable. But the teamwork there, Nini allowed to get both frags, making up for the teammates' flaws. And that's putting them in a man advantage with 1:30 left in the round.
Yeah, Fuya, I don't think got the intel that Nini was in astronomy, which is kind of questionable because if Fuya, I think, understood where the sledge was and was sitting in astronomy, she wouldn't have kind of played that as aggressively as she did and rotated through the little corridor there and got picked up by the sledge. So unfortunate, I think, miscommunication for the side of Queen Yolo mid. And this is an opportunity now for 8K to capitalize on that. Trying to add on to your point as well, is trying to take Queen Yolo mid at one-on-one gunfights with zero intel and just pure aim. It's like trying to bury an ocean. It's impossible. And that's kind of what we've seen from the rounds that 8K have lost. But then the kills that 8K have been on the winning side of things, it's been on drones, it's been on crossfires, it's been on positioning. Like you said, that's exactly what we've seen in this round. When Nini is in a position where she is droning out, getting droned out effectively, and she has a player with her kind of helping in a crossfire, it works out. But again, now it's down to the 1v1s, and it's not working. You cannot do that, and it's all up to the Thermite once again in a situation where you don't have a drone now, you don't have a crossfire now, and you have the entire side of Queen Yolo mid breathing down your neck with 2 smoke canisters, a C4, and, oh, not a C4 anymore, but a Maestro cams just all on top of you. So this is almost an unwinnable position because you only have 9 seconds left as well for 8K, as we are going to see maybe a pity kill come out, but it's not. And just like that, Queen Yolo mid continue their dominance in a game that I think was a lot closer than most people would have thought, but it came down to the little things that we were talking about in that last round. Just, you can't put your body in a position where the only way you are going to win your gunfight is solely based on aim, especially against a team like Queen Yolo mid, where we all know their mechanical skill is arguably one of the best. And it's just kind of unfortunate there for 8K, as they were not able to adapt quick enough, and they were not able to adapt on the side of things where, hey, they could have made it to overtime. They got very, very close. They proved it 5 times that they figured things out, but at the end of the day, the team with more points is always going to be undefeated, unless you're playing golf.
Forehead. Yeah, so definitely, I mean, at the end of the day, well played to Queen Yolo mid. They got 7. Like, commendations too to 8K. They've done some beautiful stuff in this game. We saw the potential that they could bring out. 5 rounds against a roster like this: Animosity, Autumn, Bappers, Fuya, Ashton. That's no joke. So they've got a lot. They've got a lot under their belt. But they have, how do I say this? Like, all they gotta do is work on it, you know? You gotta procure it, kind of, I don't know, incubate it. You've got the egg, let it hatch, and you can develop it. It's gonna, okay, that's so cheesy, but it can grow into something great. That's my point.
Yeah, absolutely. As Brimstone, welcome back.
Thank you for having me back. It's been a pleasure to be on.
It's not really an option. It's kind of just like a...
It's mandatory.
I'm kidding.
They say this is volunteer, but... No. That was a fantastic game. I felt like Queen Yolo mid, as we expected as we went through their lineup. They definitely played more as a team, and what I mean by that is you look down their lineup. Autumn May had 12 kills. Then you had, I believe it was Fuya and Bappers, 10 kills each. Once again, Marmalade coming up big with the 14K, but less so going across the rest of her teammates. And you wonder maybe if it was just a frag here or a frag there may have been all the difference that 8K needed to get ahead. Do you think it's possible, though, and I don't mean this insinuating anything towards 8K's skill, do you think it is possible that Queen Yolo mid was maybe trying to hide a few things? We questioned that when they made that choice. I believe it was dining when they switched into defense, that they were maybe playing a little back a bit. Do you think that might have been the case, Red Cube?
I think it was. If I'm being honest, I think coming into this week, I thought that the three teams that I thought would be hiding things would be Queen Yolo mid, Victoria's Secret, and definitely Artemis. Artemis is... I'm almost 100% positive Artemis is hiding something because they have 24 points, and the closest team behind them has 17 points. They don't need to prove anything. Like, everybody knows they're good. They are 100% hiding things. Victoria's Secret, on the other hand, they are in a position where they have more points than the third place team, but not as much as the first place team. That's kind of how second place works. And then
Okay.
and they're kind of hiding things like here and there. And then Queen Yolo mid, this was the one team where it was a debate. I had to really see the game in order to kind of figure out if they were hiding things. And I really think based on what we saw, I think they 100% are. I think going to Villa is a telltale sign of that anyway, because not a lot of people play on Villa. And I think maybe they don't even play on Villa and they're just like, all right, let's just go to Villa because it won't really prove too much. As then they could figure out just a bunch of other things and things like that. So I think Queen Yolo mid at the start of the game, they were hiding more than they did at the end of the game when they started realizing, hey, 8K can actually come pretty close and kind of make a run for their money. But at the end of the day, I think there was a lot of things Queen Yolo mid was hiding. 8K played their best, but at the end of the day, it was just unfortunate as the people to come out on top was Queen Yolo mid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but nonetheless, whether hidden strats, not hidden strats, 8K put up one hell of a game. Definitely something to be proud about. They gave us an entertaining show, but coming up just shy, 7-5 victory for Queen Yolo mid over 8K. We're going to flip to a quick break as usual in between matches here, but stick around, don't go anywhere. We are going to see Disrupt Gaming going up against Slaughterhouse for the final match of the evening. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes.